Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast made for players who don't interrupt their GM.
Guilty. That's so not... Although you've never GM'd for me, so that doesn't count.
No, but I mean, I just find it quite... Because I wrote that earlier this afternoon. That wasn't me responding
You're full
to
of
you.
shit. Where's the thing? Did you really?
Yeah, 100%. Find it on Trello, on the intro. Hands, look, my hands.
God.
Hands there.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
I had no idea that would fit so fucking perfect.
That does him.
That was...
So anybody who knows me knows that I get excited. And when I get excited, like, I have what is going on with my hair? I'm growing my pixie out and it looks ridiculous.
Okay,
Anyways,
let's follow a train of thought.
yes. But that's the problem. That's the problem. I get so excited that if I don't say what's on my mind, and you know this, it'll be gone. It'll be gone. Just like that. Mid-thought. And then it'll be like, English is hard. Because English is hard. Bella's joining us today.
So, anyway, how have you been?
Good?
In the grand scheme, let's say in the grand scheme of things, barring the dumpster fire that is your country,
Man.
let's say, how have you been?
I'm good. I'm tired. Work has been insane. It's really funny because all the senior people, like senior roles at my job, are all like, oh, it's never been this bad. It's never been this bad. And then we got an email the other day. It's like, oh, just good job. Just want everyone to know you're doing fantastic with the 20,000 plus members we added on this year. And I'm like, no wonder.
You'll always get that, though. You'll always get
Insane.
people kind of like, people will have something bad happen at work, and then things will go good for a bit, and they'll get comfortable, and all of a sudden something bad will happen again, and it'll be, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. And it's like, well, we've been through this cycle about 10 fucking times.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But but other than that, I'm good. I'm tired. This was my weekend of doing absolutely nothing. Like, I'm wearing the most comfiest PJ pants I own. I'm not changing out of them to go to game tonight.
Why should you?
Exactly. Like, this was a no makeup, minimal clothing, max comfort weekend. And this is why I'm here, to hang out with all you wonderful people that I love so much.
That's awesome. Speaking of all you wonderful people, big shout out to those of you who are joining us in chat.
Hey, there's everybody.
It is great to see you guys. So, how has your week in gaming been? Let's get to that, because I got shit to talk about.
I'm trying to remember. What happened? Who ran? Okay. I remember now. Gosh, it feels like so long ago since last game.
You made that sound super exciting, so I can't forget.
It was super exciting. So, I've talked about it a couple times. I'm playing Warlock for the first time. She's never used her powers. It's been all character play, which has been so much fun. To anybody who plays a caster, I challenge you to play a couple sessions without casting any magic. It's fun. Anyways, but she finally used magic for the first time. And very, very, very long story short, this last session could not have gone wrong any worse than it did. One of our players rolled in that one like twice in a row, ended up killing the other player character on accident. Like, they came back to life. Like, we resurrected them. Everything's fine. And technically he wasn't dead, but still, we had a character death. We had like traumatic history come out. We had like backstory come out. It was just a fast-paced episode, but it was so good. And then tonight is another game where we left off. Like, the game we're playing tonight is very, I don't want to say traumatic, but it's very dark.
Okay.
The character group, like the group of the player party, didn't like, we're from the same village and we're all like, they were kids who grew up in a cult together and were kind of sort of sacrificed. And then, like, split off and they got pulled back together again. So it's kind of like It, Stephen King's It. But it's probably the funniest game because all of us are so unhinged. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. And then I've also been working on, I don't know if it counts as gaming, but we're going to say it's gaming. It's a fitness endeavor.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm actually going to pull together a TTRPG booklet. I don't want to say book. I don't want to say game. But I am going to pull up a system that is very much so gamifying workout. So my brain has been like diving into that all week. But yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds really good. And speaking of gamifying workouts, in the chat we've got my rival, Stefan, who I do hope is feeling better because we've been putting it off for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
We have our challenge to get through where he is gonna absolutely fuck me. But I'm all for it. I'm all for a good hard fucking.
I would comment on that, but I'm not gonna.
I don't think that I think it's perfectly self-explanatory.
Between the two of you, that actually makes sense. That makes total, absolute sense, and I support it. Go for it.
And to be honest, and look, I want to see just how embarrassing it is, because since we spoke about it, I've had like 2 to 3 weeks head start where I've been doing like a lot of cardio. And I've been getting quite good. I'm quite happy with my current PBs. And he's going to come in after 3 weeks of being ill and just fucking destroy me.
No, because you're full of shit, one of all. Because every time you're like, I don't work out that much, you blow us away with your mileage. And then second of all, you're cheating. You've had time to work out. You just said like you've had chest practice. Meanwhile, Stefan's in the ER with some sort of like lung infection or something.
Exactly. That's my point. He's going to come back after all that and still fucking destroy me. I've got this major advantage, and it's not going to mean fuck all.
We'll see.
Honestly, I'm going to get on there, and I'm going to come out. I'm going to finish the week. I'm going to do my 3 sessions. I'm going to post up my fucking results, and I'm going to be so proud of myself. And that's the end of that.
All right. I'll be very interested to see how this goes.
Honestly, I can see it coming. I'm not saying how much I'm doing. I'm not revealing that amount. I'm just going to let Stefan do Stefan.
Okay.
And he's going to,
I thought Stefan was doing you. I'm so confused.
No, that's afterward. That's afterwards.
Okay.
But I didn't do a massive amount of gaming this week. All I did was Pathfinder. I did Abomination Vault as we're getting to the end. And because we've decided to kind of carry on the Kingmaker campaign. Despite the unfortunate loss of the person who essentially hired me to do it. I'm going to carry it on, but I am going to carry it on with certain changes. And these are changes that I think will help improve the flow of the game, that will help my mental state running a Pathfinder. And I mean, one of the things is I'm just going to do it all theater of the mind. I cannot be bothered with maps and tokens, but I am prepping it in a way which will allow people to do that. But the other thing, and this all stemmed from a conversation on Threads that I had with our very own Honnold a couple of weeks ago, where he posted his TTRPG question of the week, and it was, what do you think of character death? Now, my response was, character death is great, it's fantastic, it's a wonderful narrative, hook, and it can enhance the story. However, I will say that, somewhat hypocritically, but I will say that removing character death from Pathfinder and D&D will improve the flow of the game. And I had a massive reason why, which I can go into if you want. But long story short, I put that into practice on Thursday at an Abomination Vault. I went, right, okay, from now on, we're using fabula rules for character death. When your character is going to die, you've got a choice. You can either surrender, which means you are out of the combat 100%. No matter how much you get healed, you are not coming back into this combat. Or you can sacrifice, meaning that you do a big sort of gesture. You lose your character, but I will give you something in return.
Yeah, I love that.
You kill the big boss with your sacrifice.
Right, yeah.
Let's talk about how that... So that's how Fabula works. So I have now implemented that in Pathfinder, and the reason I've done that is because characters in Pathfinder and D&D more specifically are a project. Regardless of whether you're trying to min-max, regardless of whether you're trying to create a narrative for your character, it is a project. It is every level you've got to go through a plethora of options and then choose what works best for your vision. So when you lose a character in those systems, you're losing something that you're emotionally tied to, but you're also logically tied to because of the work that you have put in.
Yeah, that's fair.
And my theory was that because of that, that creates that adds on to the fear of losing that character, which slows down the play because people are a bit more reticent. People are a bit less willing to take risks.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I immediately saw an improvement on Thursday.
Interesting.
And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like day and night. It was a slight improvement because there was a moment when they were getting their asses handed to them that it was a case of, right, should we run? And one of them went, no, fuck it. Let's go in.
Very cool.
And then another character was, right, there's nothing I can do right now this round. Just skip me, go to somebody else. Whereas before it would have been, I need to get as much efficiency out of my turn as possible. Whereas this was like, I can't do anything. You just move on.
My players do that already.
It was just such a refreshing sort of pace to the game, which
for your table, it's good.
It did became, and Connell's asking if they became more reckless as they cared less. I wouldn't say reckless. I would say they didn't second guess as much. They didn't have that thing in the back of their mind going, "Are you doing the right thing?" You know, they made a decision and they stuck with it. Whereas before, we'd always have especially in combats where it's very much against the wall, there'd be this decision paralysis of what do I do? If I do this, I could die. I could lose my character.
Yeah.
But without that added sort of fear, it was a case of, okay, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
Because they knew that if their character dropped, then unless they specifically say so, they're not losing it.
Love that worked for you. Absolutely. Because when I first started gaming with the group I'm with now, there was a little bit of a decision paralysis. Like, oh, but my character, I don't want to lose my character. They don't have that anymore. And I think that's just because the culture of our table has shifted to where like we don't just have that problem. But like I love that worked for you. And I love being able to take bits and pieces from different games and implement them into whatever you're running to make it work for your table. Because each table and each set of players is gonna be so different from the other. And I swear I love this game or this hobby. What is this? I almost said the sport. That's why I love this sport.
So that is a change I will be implementing into Kingmaker as well.
Oh.
Your character's fate depends on you. It doesn't depend on me or any other dice roll anymore.
That's very cool. I like that.
So it worked. It worked out really well.
Good.
So we kind of really need to get onto this pretty quickly because I posted our usual question of the week. I got a lot more responses than I'm used to. So it was like...
So I was like, I don't know what to do.
I think most of them came throughout the first day. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But I got some really cool responses as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we will start. So basically what I asked is if you were forced to only play one RPG system for the rest of your life, which one would it be? Why? Essentially, that was the question.
Yeah.
I'll ask you in a second. We'll get to our own opinions, but I wanna start reading out some of these because some of these are things that I hadn't even heard of. So I'm really interested in.
Yeah, which is always fun for me.
So first of all, going over to Discord, going over to our Discord, we have Corvus who says Fabula Ultima. Says it's such a good system of free-form world building, and it actively encourages player input for that world building as well as the characters. On top of that, the creative freedom for characters is insane. I do like Fabula. I do like it quite a bit, and he is very correct in the sense that there is a
Couch. Love it. I love when Couch runs Fabula. I've seen a couple other people do Fabula. It's okay. But Couch running Fabula, like that's his game. Like it's so good.
It's a fit. Yeah, it is a perfect fit for Couch.
Yeah.
Craig, Tezrak the Imp Slayer, Shadowlight and Persona, which to be honest, I kind of agree with because it is so versatile. You can do anything with it out of the box. But he also says honorable mention Fate. Never played Fate.
I haven't played it, but I've heard it a lot. Like a lot.
A good friend, Mistress Winter, says, Powered by the Apocalypse. Not only is it the root system for my favourite game, Monster Hearts 2, but it's genre agnostic and rules light. PBTA is a great dramatic, collaborative storytelling system. Couldn't agree more. I've played a few PBTA games, and they do, it is very much a conversation between player and GM about how things progress. All right. That's only the start. Any thoughts?
Good mix, though.
It is. It is. And I will say this. I'd like there was nothing in these responses which kind of leaned heavily in one direction or the other.
Yeah, no.
Everybody had their own. I've got their own reasons for it.
Yeah.
So over to threads now where we've got Embiodied Voice. It's written really weird. But Daggerheart.
Wow.
Yeah, it combines my favorite parts of role-playing, which is the storytelling and the collaboration, with a system that to me gives you enough tools to do what you want without making it difficult to learn and jump. Played Dagger Heart once, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I definitely think it's got some legs to it. Restless Barbarian Gaming says Call of Cthulhu, because I find the system easy to learn, flexible for most genres of horror, and dark as hell. Which, yeah.
Yeah, that's an accurate description. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, yeah,
yeah, it is. It is accurate. The Mole's Revenge says Shadowrun 3rd Edition. I've been running my current campaign for close to 30 years on and off, and I'm not going to quit now. That's fair. Mythical Misfits Show said Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It's complex and deep enough to play for years to come. I will say that. I will say, as much as I'm averse to Pathfinder, I will say that there is enough content to, even if you just did the adventure paths, that's decades worth.
Yeah.
DM Disaster says World of Darkness. It can span centuries in regards to time, kill or no kill games, combat, politics, magic. Vampires, changelings, werewolves, humans, mages, demons, mummies can go as dark or as light as you want. One-shot and campaigns can blend seamlessly together. I need to get some World of Darkness behind me because I've had an idea for a campaign and I need Vampire the Masquerade in order to do it.
Yeah, I have yet to play any World of Darkness, and I really, really, really want to. But I feel like I'm going to slip into my old, high school, grunge thing, and I gotta be careful with that. It's it was a different Atlas altogether.
No, we've got one kind of not set up, but in the talking stage with Spunky, Judy Garland, Juicy Garland. Sorry, if it was Judy Garland, she's a real vampire.
Yeah, let's be honest.
But yeah, Stefan says we need to get a World of Darkness game going. Fucking yes,
yes,
all
yes.
Right. David Salmon 67 says 3 picks. He's got D&D, which is pre-AD&D. He was very specific about that.
Yep, I've heard that a lot.
Call of Cthulhu and Cyberpunk with an honorable mention to Traveller. If you know, you know. Fair enough. I've played Traveller. I don't know anything more than that.
So I was maybe I know. I don't know if I know.
No. This was one that I had to Google, actually. Richard Bartleby says EABA, which I did Google, and
I recognize that,
and I've completely forgotten.
Oh my god, John!
I think
what was it?
EABA, EOBOL, or something like that. I did look it up. End all be all. Sorry, not EOL.
The end all be all game system. That's confident as hell.
So it says it's elegant and can cover any genre well enough. Its world-building supplement can help with building consistent and reasonably realistic settings. There are books that cover sci-fi, superhero, historic fantasy, and modern conspiracy settings. The only downside is that almost no one else plays it. Yeah, I mean, I looked it up. It's a dice pool system.
I love Dice Pool. Dice Pool makes me so happy, and not enough of the games that it's so funny. The games that I love playing don't have Dice Pool systems on them, and that's what kills me. Is I'm just except for Shadowrun, but Shadowrun is nobody wants to play it because combat's so slow. And even me, I'll be like, yeah, combat's not the greatest, but if someone was like, hey, you want to play Shadowrun? Yes, in an instant. It's worth the cringe for me. It's yeah.
Next up, we've got Eric Pavlat, who says Savage Worlds, as long as I can get to use all the official companions too. As someone who's starting out in Savage Worlds, it's I could see that. I could see that working for me. Our very own Constant Connell. My first choice is probably Mutants and Mastermind, since it's designed to cover everything in the superhero genre, which is legit everything. I've run fantasy to cyberpunk with it. It's not the best system for every single genre, but it does most of them pretty well. My second choice would probably be an old toolkit, likely the D6 system, because it was fairly versatile, had a lot of official rules variations for crunchy or lighter, and was a pool system, which I enjoyed. I think we're about halfway through at this point, by the way.
Nah. We should have thought ahead of time, and I could have done some graphic thing for your the game titles and play a game with it of which ones gets mentioned most.
No, that's fair enough. I did consider actually tallying them up and seeing which one gets mentioned the most. But to be fair, they're all on equal footing.
Yeah.
To the Bizzle GM says I'm going basic role playing. The D100, the skills variations that you can go super crunchy or as light as you want. setting agnostic wins all round for me. I've been wanting to get into that for some time because I play Delta Green, and Delta Green is loosely based on it.
Yeah. I was about to say, haven't you already? Because the Delta Green thing. I'm like, no, okay, no, that's different.
Okay, so the Altered World game. It's kind of obvious that we would say this, but we would play our game. We love how the rules work, but the narrative world allows you to play any game style in one setting, so it would be hard to get bored with it. I'm gonna have to look up Altered World. To be fair, I tell you what, if you guys at Altered World want to send me a review copy, we'll take a look at it next week.
There we go. Yeah.
How's about that? All right. Elwood Blue. I literally just read, because it is written Elwood Bloo. And I love that I read that out.
Blue.
Hero or GURPS covers all manner of settings and types of games. They're ones that I've heard, but I've never really investigated.
I don't even think I've heard that, to be honest. I was digging deep, and I'm going...
GURPS is I think it's Generic Unified Roleplay System.
I have heard that. Never mind. I forgot that's what it stood for. I have heard that.
SB says, it's so basic, but I've played so many systems, and D&D is still my favorite. However, I've got to say, I love the combat in monsters and other childish things as well. Very fun. That's the one that Juicy was talking about. It's by Arc Dream as well. I need to look into that.
Yeah.
TJ Nagel says, I would have to go with something super modular, rules light and hackable. And this one surprised me. I would probably go with Mothership. The third-party ecosystem is so diverse, it can really be anything you want it to be. Never knew that. Never knew Mothership was
I didn't either,
to be fair.
Yeah, no.
Satiris says, if pressed, I'd probably have to say Fate Core. It doesn't cover all the things I want out of tabletop role-playing games, but no single game does. At least I'd be set regarding any kind of indulgent, cinematic pulp and high-action adventures, regardless of setting. Plus, it's very hackable.
Okay.
And
I like that. I like hackable.
Yeah, it is hackable. And I think that's a requirement for modular systems now. You have to be able to go, right, I can do whatever the fuck I want with this.
Yeah.
This is actually the last one. This was Winchell Chung over on Mastodon. Said, again, Fate Core, because it is elastic enough to handle almost any genre.
Fate got mentioned a couple times.
So I think out of all of them, I think the winner, and I won't say clear winner because it was only like 3.
Yeah.
was Fate. Was Fate.
Interesting.
I thought Savage Worlds would get mentioned a bit more.
Yeah, well, I thought a couple of them would get mentioned a little bit more, but that's interesting.
And I will say, out of the chat, Covenant Crucible.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of different things you can play.
Yep. Especially with their cough new Kickstarter that got backed in 24 hours. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's so cool.
Did you back
That's
it? Because
awesome.
I certainly did.
Yeah. I don't actually know if I did or not. I know I went to, but it asked for my information, and I didn't. Let me tell you, just quick side tangent, okay? My browser needed a freaking update, and it didn't tell me that. It just stopped working every time I used it, so my whole computer would freeze. I was so angry. There's a very angry Atlas trying to re-wipe her entire browser system, so everything got clear on my credit card and everything. So I've been having to go through each website and fix it, and it's...
Yeah, as soon as it came up, I backed it. It's one of the... I've got a few systems that I want to run one-shots in. One of them is Shadowlight and Persona. The other, obviously, is Savage Worlds, and then Covenant Crucible. I've already kind of got a scenario ready. I just need to kind of hammer out the rules and probably make a few pre-gens to kind of get a bit more familiar with the system. And then I shall run something.
You need to. Your list of things you're supposed to run for us is growing.
It is. And to be honest, I was thinking about it the other day. Whereas I've started playing more, I'm GMing far less. And it's like, yeah, but I still want to GM. It's
good that you're playing is what I meant. Because I feel like there should be a nice, healthy balance. Because, yeah, I hate, other than the people who love it, there are people who just DM. That's all they want to do is DM. They're like, I'm the forever DM and I love that. I'm like, that's good for you. But then there are people who are like, oh, I haven't played in forever. I don't remember the last time. And that's so sad to me. Like, you should be able to play as much as you want to play, you know?
I enjoy playing, but I'm more of a GM. I thoroughly enjoy GMing. I get a bit of a rush out of it that I don't necessarily get when playing.
I know which one I prefer. Like, I play more than I GM, so my gut reaction would be like, oh, I prefer playing more than GMing. But I don't know if that's true because, like, I'm constantly churning out content and creation stuff. I don't post it on like the internet or anything, but like I have notebooks full of games that I want to run, and I'm just I don't have the table to run it, or like I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I don't know why I enjoy it so much. I don't know whether it's I don't know whether it's a power trip for me or something along those lines, but it's just, I really enjoy just share. It's almost like I enjoy creating something and sharing it.
Yes, same, 100% same. And that's like that. There's people who are just light tangent. It's related, I promise. I grew up a lot of times because I've been drawing since I was a little kid, and people always use like, well, I can't draw a straight line. I'm not creative. I'm like, you don't have to be an artist to be a creator. Like, you can be creative and it not present itself in an artistic way. And I wish people would recognize that, because storytelling is creative. Hell, storytelling is an art. Make shit. If you enjoy making things, make shit. Like, it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks about it. Yeah.
That is
tangent.
That is the reason this podcast exists. I think I was watching this show with Kevin Smith on it, and he just kind of went, don't make things for people, make it for you.
Yes.
And put it out into the world. If people want to listen or people want to consume what you put out, they will do, but make it for you. And that's what Justin and I started doing. Is we're going to make this for us, and that's what I think we've continued to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, we've continued making this for. If we weren't having fucking fun doing this, we wouldn't do it.
No.
And that is and that for me, and being able to share that with yourself and with anybody who takes time out of their busy day to come and spend time with us.
Yeah.
Great. You know, I enjoy doing it. And it's the same with GMing. That's why I'm not enthusiastic about pre-written stuff.
Yeah, no. I love reading pre-written stuff, because for me, like, when I intake creative things, it does give me more material to kind of like digest and somehow recreate it in my own way. But like, I will never run Curse of Strahd. I just won't. However, I'm obsessed with the new Nosferatu movie. It's so goddamn good. I've always loved Bram Stoker's Dracula. I read through Curse of Strahd just to kind of see, like, okay, how did they take that concept and twist it into a game? And I'm actually turning that into a household. I mean, I
will put a caveat out there, and I will say I don't enjoy pre-written stuff. However, the exception for me is Delta Green stuff.
Oh yeah.
For me, because Delta Green pre-written operations are set out somewhat differently to your modules for D&D and Pathfinder and everything else. They're not so much do this and then do this and then do this and then do this. They are very much written as, okay, there's a timeline of events that's happening, and here's the information. What happens with the players and what they decide to do, you just need the modules to basically access the information.
Right. Yeah, Household is kind of like that, because I think I've talked about this before, but and stop me if I have. But the entire book of Household is a story. It's a historical document of what happened throughout those years. You're playing characters and adventures that aren't in the book. Like, you make up your own shit. They give you ideas, but you make up your own stuff. But it happens within the context of like, hey, this is the bigger picture of what's going on. I love that, because then it gives you the freedom of creating whatever you want, creepy Nosferatu stuff, in the middle of this already established universe. Which
Delta Green is very similar, because they have the Handler's Guide. And in the Handler's Guide, there is a timeline. And it is from the late 20s, where Delta Green, with the inception of Delta Green, and it is everything that happened, but not also to Delta Green, but everything that is even slightly tangential to Delta Green, the rival organizations, some of the old ones resurfacing, and it is a timeline. So you could feasibly pick out any one of those events on the timeline and run an operation.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's great.
So much so that the operations that are out and published figure on the timeline as well.
Sorry, my brain just went like 90 miles per hour. I was like, you know what? You need to run Delta Green for us. And the what is it called?
What? Delta Green?
No, the other show on here.
Crit List?
Thank you. Oh my God. You know what I almost great because he's in the chat right now. You know what I kept trying to call it in my head was Craigslist. I was like, no.
So yeah, we do need to get back to Shadowlight and Persona with Craig.
We do.
Yeah, because
we gotta finish that.
Yeah.
We left it hanging. Sam in the chat is kidnapped. She's my sister in that game.
Yes. Oh yeah, we need to rescue her.
We need to rescue her with all of the bare arms.
And
he's gonna get so old of it.
And my now nerfed ability.
So nerfed. That was so broken.
It is now.
It was good though.
It was absolutely fine before. It was just like, sleep.
And sleep. You're just walking through, sleep. You're supposed to be like, aren't you a monk? Aren't you like,
yeah, so
parkour monk, and you just were like, sleep.
I was kind of envisioning it like your traditional sort of monk-like character walking with his hands behind his back and just kind of...
blessings, Mitch. Yes, listen. Okay, I don't care what people say. That series, Kung Fu Panda, is so wholesome. Like, I think the last one was number 4, right? I like number 1 is good. The rest of them were all filler episodes. They're fine. They're good. Whatever. But number 4 was so good. And I don't know if it's because they kind of targeted the audience to be aged up a little bit, because the storyline is very much so one of passing the torch. It was...
I've not seen number 4. I've only seen one.
You need to watch number 4.
I think I've seen 1 and 2. Number 3, I may have had it on at one point and not really paid attention.
Same, yeah.
To be honest, I can only stomach Jack Black for a certain amount of time.
No, he's one of my celebrity crunches. Crunch, nom, nom, nom. I was thinking about dumplings and Chinese food, which I had this weekend. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I cannot abide by Jack Black. The moment I see he's in something, it's like, this is going to be shit.
I love him so much. Like, I understand he is very much so Dwayne Johnson in the fact that he plays himself in everything that he's in. Okay? But I don't know. In a world that's so full of just people that take themselves way too seriously, I just appreciate his very much so not taking himself seriously.
Nah, can't stand it.
That's good.
What was I forced to watch, like, around Christmas? I think this wasn't even this year. This was last year. Or the year before, even. I was forced to watch, like, The Holiday over Christmas.
I even like chick flicks, and that's a good movie.
And I was like, this is shit.
John,
this is... And as soon as I saw Jack Black, it's like, it's even shitter.
John. Okay, now, to be fair, I don't understand the Jude Law hype. He's a nice guy, but I don't understand the hype. Like, and here's what I think is wrong with me. We've talked about this briefly about how, and this I will turn this into gaming in just a hot second. But like, I grew up with my dad always in England. Okay, so the British accent I grew up with, nothing special about it, right? Middle school, high school hits, and all of my friends are like, British accents are so hot, and I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, it's just not whatever. So the hype train for certain actors, I never really understood, because I was like, So when we're playing games and someone will pop in a British accent to portray the super suave character, it doesn't work on me. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
But
moving on.
But what I love about that is it's always the sort of British accent, which, the sort of very posh kind of Oxford-based accent. You don't get many people.
Really is.
You don't get suave motherfuckers in movies talking like me.
No, not really. Although there is,
I would love that though. I would love for like someone to remake something like Lord of the Rings, but done with someone with an accent like mine, going, "You shall not pass me."
Now hear me out. Like, you throw a Scottish accent in anything, and I'm sold. And then there's one poet, Dan Whitlam. I don't know where he comes from.
I'm not a poetry guy, so
that's fine. But I don't know where he comes from. You need to find him, look him up, and tell me what part of England he's from based off his voice. Because, like, I don't even really pay attention to what his poems are, to be completely honest. I just sit there and listen to him. Like, okay. But
right.
No, I need to get better at accents, because I'm trying so hard to I'm big on improving myself, which actually was part of my question that I asked, which I don't know if we'll have time to get to today.
Dan
Was,
Whitlam's from South London.
okay. Is that a posh thing?
I honestly, I wouldn't really know because where I'm from, my accent's from the north of England. I don't know London that well, so I wouldn't. I mean,
Okay.
my partner, she's from East London, and she would be able to go, "Oh, that's north, that's south, that's here, that's there." She immediately would know.
Okay.
I have no fucking clue.
Connell uses it against me because, like, I have a like, we're playing teenagers, so I have this like childhood sweetheart character in the game that we're playing right now that he's jamming, and I guess he pays attention to shit that I post or repost on social media because he plays this character, and out came this poet's accent, and I'm staring at him going, "What the fuck you doing, bro?" And he's got this cocky grin on his face because he knows, and I'm like,
just trying to get you all damn.
Yep, that's the wrong word. Now, okay, but improving ourselves. We've talked about this. Okay, you don't do accents, right? And I do dictations. Like when I talk about my NPCs, I do dictations. I like change the way they speak, the lilt, the tone, the pace, what words they use. But see,
it's gone. Okay, so you're talking about not doing accents, but doing like alterations to the way you speak.
Yes. Okay, so I am trying to get better at accents because that is something that I would like to get better at. Is there something as a GM you want to get better at?
Oh, something as a GM I want to get better at. That's interesting.
Yeah, because everybody's very confident, and I love that. And they're like, "Oh, well, I do it this way, I do it this way," and I believe 100% you should be your biggest hype man. But
I will say it's definitely not accents. I've got no interest in becoming better at accents because, I feel like I'm not going to get to the point where I can do it authentically enough.
Yeah.
That someone from that particular place will listen and just kind of go, "Oh shit, that was good." They'll listen and just go, "Oh, what a fucking toss."
Your American was good. Your American
was shit.
American was good. Your American was better than my American.
They're kind of hard to do that. But anyway, so I tell you what, I think getting or finally settling on a prep style.
Interesting.
Because every time I go to prep, it's like I'll do it completely fucking differently. And don't get me wrong.
Do you think that's because of your session? Do you think it's because your sessions are all different, or
I don't know. I don't know what it. No, I think it's because I'm never satisfied. It's because
that sounds like a personal issue.
I'll prep something, and I mean, I'm never satisfied. Neither is my partner.
Shit.
But it's because I'll prep something. I'll prep a game, and it'll be like cool, and then I'll run it, and then I'll kind of go, no, that I wasn't happy with how that flowed. I was, the whole self-critical imposter syndrome shit kind of kicks in. So the next time I prep, I'll try something different, and then I'll run that and kind of. I mean, the best I've found is I think it's Sly Flourish, Lazy GM style prep.
Okay.
Where you just make little sort of snippets. You don't prep anything major. You just kind of rely on your own improv. But I'm still, because that's very much, I play D&D, so all my info is for D&D.
Yeah, no.
So I'm trying to kind of adapt that to different style of games. So that's probably what I'd want to improve upon.
I asked that question. I worded it a little different. I asked what people do really well in game, and then what's their own personal pet peeve about themselves. And I didn't get a lot of responses because I only asked it on Blue Sky because that's pretty much the only place I'm interactive on right now. Not going to get into that. Corey at GM Corey Blue Sky Social said, "We did a long story and swap DMs sometimes, and the other doesn't prepare anything while I'm in charge of the story as a whole. So every made up location and character I would fit into the world and give depth so it makes sense. But he sucked at remembering to give detailed description. And his pet peeve is also feeling a need to give everything value or description. 99% never sees the light of day. This is the hurdle in the TTRPG I'm developing, overthinking every bit," which is fair. I don't know how many times that I've used the same name on accident for multiple NPCs. I'd be like, Titus. Titus is a very common name that I use. And someone will be like, "Oh, wasn't that the name of so-and-so? Like in the other town?" Like, damn, y'all be paying attention.
I do that on purpose.
Do you?
I do that on purpose.
Oh, you're mean.
I'll use a name and then I'll reuse a name, and then people will start going, "But there was a person guy." It's like, well, what do you think in a world of however many million people, there's only one person with that fucking name?
I'm going to use that. It won't be on purpose. It'll just be Yeah,
I
same
mean,
way.
the best example of that is in Impossible Landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
Slight spoiler, it all starts because you are looking for a person called Abby or Abigail.
Okay.
When one of my players created their bonds for their character, he went, okay, my bond is going to be his girlfriend and she's called Abigail. And I left it. And I went, oh, that's going to be fun.
Shit.
That's going to be fun.
That's
So
gonna mess with them too.
yeah, because I could have easily gone, oh, no, can you call her something else? It's like, no, no. So I did like a whole, he's starting to lose his mind because he's making the connection between his Abigail and the Abigail that's gone missing. And he's seeing visions of one replacing the other. I was like, yeah, let's have some fun with that.
That's great. My NPC, I need to use that, the multiple name thing. I'll remember that next time.
Huh?
Matt Fillion says what he's really good at is timing sessions to land on cliffhangers almost every game. I used to do that. I quit because it caused problems. Pet peeve. Improvise NPCs all the time. Constantly forget their details, names, accents, gone in the wind. So I'm sensing a theme here with GMs, their NPCs, and not remembering stuff. And the last one was Fear Cohen's. The pet peeve, the thing they're working on. I know I'm overreacting when I say there are 6 printers in this office. Why do partial reams of paper exist? So here's my thing. Again, I think everybody should be able to recognize what they're good at, but I think it's not a bad thing to say, hey, I want to work on this. I don't know if accents would be the thing that I'm working on specifically as a GM. I think mine would be timing. Reading, I'm getting better, but it was definitely one of those things, learning the rhythm of like, and we're walking. Okay, well, I don't want to just be like, oh, we're going on an adventure and boom, we're there. Sometimes it calls for that. Sometimes it does. Like, sometimes it's super not important, but I want to make sure the players have time to RP. But in giving my players time to RP, sometimes I'm like, oh, y'all are waiting on me. Okay. Whoops.
I'm quite upfront about that with my players.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will go, right, unless anybody wants to do anything,
yeah,
we're going to move on now. And I will say, and if you want to RP, now's the time sort of thing. I will give them that opportunity. But a lot of times they'll just kind of go, no, let's do it. And you kind of move on.
That's smart. I should just ask them. The only problem, too, is that a lot of our best RPs come when they're not expecting it. Like, if I just ask my players, like, oh, does anybody want to RP anything? They're like, no, we're good, move on. If I just give them a couple minutes of silence where I don't say anything, organically, they'll just start gaining and stuff will happen magically, and it's beautiful. So, yeah.
No, I get that. I completely get that.
Reading my table. But that goes back to every table is different. Every player is different.
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's it. You get to know your table, you get to know your players, you get to know their sort of non-verbal cues.
You get to know who's going to interrupt the GM.
Yeah, which is normally going to be you, I'm guessing.
All the time. I get excited. Connell and Scott both will start like describing this huge thing. And I'm like, okay, well, my character would react to something like in that moment. And both of them are like, no, hang on. I'm like, yeah. And the moment's gone. And I'm like, but okay.
No, but that is a common thing, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the GM kind of holding the pace and just kind of going,
sure.
Right, we'll get to that in a second. I need to finish this.
Yeah.
And if that happens, why don't you just make a little note?
I might. Usually the scenes progress though. That's the only thing.
But if you want to interrupt with something, hold your hand up, make a little note of what that's going to be.
I should get a little sparkly ball thing, like a little wand I can hold up.
If you want to use a sparkly ball,
disco lights.
You want a sparkly ball with disco lights, because that's not going to be fucking disorienting. No,
and I'm going to wear my bedazzled pink Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, I mean, whatever makes the game flow better, I guess.
Oh, you're going to hate jamming for me. Craig already does.
No, I'm looking forward to it. But I think I'm going to start. I'm going to start with Blades in the Dark for you guys, because where I'm not playing it, I find myself really missing it.
Aww.
So that, if, going back to my question of which one would you choose, it'd be Forged in the Dark. I just think, there's so much you can do with it. And because it's not a fixed sort of time frame, and it's not a fixed sort of focus, I can make the brush strokes as broad or as fine as I want them, depending on the situation. And I really enjoy that. So I think I'm going to run Blades in the Dark for you guys first and foremost.
Love that, because I have not played Blades in the Dark, so that'll be a first for me.
It takes getting used to, I will say that.
Okay.
is one of these systems where you have to sort of change your perception on how to play. But once you get it, it's like, holy shit, this is genius.
Very cool. I'm down for it. Like, I love testing out new games and new systems. Like, I know I don't play a lot and I haven't played a lot. That doesn't mean I don't want to. Like, I'm for it. I'm so for it. I love trying new stuff out. If I ever get the balls to run publicly for you guys, I'll probably run you guys through Household.
I'd be interested in Household.
Yeah,
I'd be
like
interested in giving
their
that a go.
system too. Like, I enjoy 5e. I have nothing. Well, every system has its downfalls, but like I enjoy 5e. But if I get a system that has its own system, I'm gonna run its system.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course.
Just how I am.
All right, so we have run a bit over from where I meant to drop this, but we are going to say a quick hello to our partners this evening. Yeah, our partners in crime.
Partners in cream.
So I've got 13th Moon Games. It's a family-run indie game company out of Wyoming, USA, responsible for the TCRPG Covenant Crucible. It's a game of modern-day witchcraft. If you can imagine the John Wick movies and the last Witch Hunter movie got together and had a really pretty baby, a Covenant Crucible would be it. And if you want to learn more, you're interested in joining the official Discord game, check them out on Instagram or message them there, 13th Moon Games. And they have a new Kickstarter out now, Covenant Crucible Beyond. Go back them. Let's get some rewards. I want fucking rewards. Go back them.
Yeah.
You know, I want some stretch goals.
I want shiny things. Stretch it.
All right. And then we've got Step into a Universe Where Fandoms Collide. Welcome to Crossing the Nerdverse, your ultimate portal to all things geeky and glorious. Whether you're into comics, gaming, sci-fi, we've got you covered. Discover exclusive interviews, epic debates, and insider tips from your favorite creators. So join the adventure at crossingthenerdverse.com and unleash your inner nerd. Embrace the passion, celebrate the culture, Crossing the Nerdverse where every fan finds their place. Lastly, you need to check out our merch store where you can find our t-shirts, hoodies, desk mats, other ridiculous items. They're either branded with our logo, we've got a supernatural-inspired waffle-on design, or our Moves Like Atlas design. If you want to support us more directly, you can head to our Ko-fi page and make a one-time donation, or subscribe to our $3 a month tier, which will give you exclusive Discord access and a mention in our credits. And as always, the best way to support us is by hitting the subscribe button and telling your friends about us. So yeah, come and join us in the Traveler's Chalice where we talk absolute shite.
Oh yeah, it's a hot mess in there. I was just about to be like, another way to support us is to feed Atlas. If you send me some of that, like, if you get like the spicy ramen, the bulldog, I don't know how you say it, bulldog, Korean spicy ramen.
Interesting.
So good. Like, they have this carbonara. It's in peak packaging. Like, I'm this close to putting my P.O. box and my link and being like, send me a package of spicy ramen. I'll send you a set of dice. Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
Or like a shout out on the thing. Like, if you don't want to support us online, support me with my hunger.
Yeah, I mean, you can always feed my coffee addiction.
Yes. Yeah, we do accept items and gifts, not just.
Yeah, if you want to send me gifts, I mean, I'll happily take gifts.
Right?
100%. You know, send me if you've got something that you can kind of go, hey, these guys would be interested in that. You send them to me.
And we will shout you out. That's the other thing. Like, I'm not going to be like, someone sent me ramen noodles. I will straight up be like, hey, so-and-so on the packaging.
This
Bella's
person.
supports this plan.
Yeah, Bella is, and that's our OnlyFans content.
Leave it to my dog. She's like, you said ramen? Yes.
Fuck, that was funny.
Oh, man.
So talking about systems. Sorry. Okay, that's for the $5 a month tier.
Right?
Bella with a little preview there.
Yeah, but it's going to be John doing that. That's what they don't realize.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's going to be a very niche sort of fandom.
And we'll have the pictures too. What it's going to be is a picture of Bella and then a picture of John recreating that picture.
Or Bella's body with my head photoshopped onto it.
No. I am not doing the shit you'll find in Traveler's Chalice, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
If we're being honest.
So we have talked about quite a few systems today. So I thought I would dig into my treasure trove of PDFs and bring out a system that I could show you.
I feel like this needs to be a segment called like John's Junk. Never mind. I said it as soon as I said it. John's Junk Drawer. There we go.
So
add the drawer to the end.
No, let's take a look at John's junk this week. All right, so yeah, I have over 1,000 PDFs in my collection. So every week when we kind of need to fill time, I try bring out one of these systems to kind of show you guys and just, have a look at something that I've got that I may never even get a chance to play. So yeah, thank you, David. Thank you, Connell. Nearly called him David then. Thank you, Connell, for this week on John's Junk is a wrap.
It's an irrational amount of gaming.
Let's go back to... You see, I want to kind of take this slightly seriously because someone's put hard work into this game.
Well, yeah, the game is serious and important.
Okay. All
Shit,
right.
that looks cool as hell. Okay, now I'm locked in. Like, whoa.
Okay, so this is Anomaly Hunters, and it is from Wendigo Workshop. You can find them at linktree/Wendigo Workshop. They're also on Blue Sky at Wendigo Workshop and on Threads at Wendigo Workshop. So Anomaly Hunters. Anomaly Hunters is a Breathless game. We talked about Breathless when we had RP on the show. He is the creator of Breathless, which is a toolkit which I fell in love with immediately because I love the concept around it.
Well, it looks fucking cool.
Anomaly Hunters is based on that. So in Anomaly Hunters, you play a group of people who are on a show that looks for the spooky and the supernatural. Think the sort of paranormal investigators.
So it's kind of like that video game.
I don't know what video game, and saying that video game doesn't really help.
I know. Starts with a P.
But
where's
anyway,
Megan when I need her? She hasn't been on about. Yeah.
When you think of it, shout it out because I know you will.
Will do. Yeah.
So Anomaly Hunters, you play as part of this program, and it is Breathless. And the way Breathless works, a brief overview, is that you have skills and you have items that are all represented by a size of dice. Every time you use said item or said skill, that dice reduces in size. So you may start out with a D12 in something. Say you D12 in athletics. I don't think they call it athletics here. In this, they are called bash. So you've got a D12 in bash, which is to wreck things, to move things, to force things. You roll a skill, you succeed or you fail, regardless of whether that happens. That D12 then becomes a D10 the next time you use it. And that carries up for everything you do, every roll you make, those reduce. What you can do is you can then choose to take a break. So when you take a break, you reset all your skills. However, the GM then gets to introduce a complication. So Breathless, the original sort of game that this is based on, is a zombie survival game. So it works really well. So you take a break and all of a sudden the zombies break down the door and you need to move on. This works in a similar way.
Interesting.
However, what they have added here is they have added a... Where is it?
I just like any game that tells you to take a break. Take a break.
Yeah. But what they have added is they've added a rating. So depending on how the episode goes,
okay,
the GM will assign a rating for the session or the episode, as it were. Is there as the cool factor. An episode ending on a 1 causes the show to be cancelled. At least with that particular team, you can create new characters and start over in the same universe. On a 2, the episode is not the best, but definitely not the worst. On the next episode, you start with a penalty. And you are rated on a 1 to 5. On a 1 to 5, the next episode, you start with a bonus. So depending on how the episode goes, and it is a mechanical thing that you can introduce using stunts. So a stunt, you basically roll a d12 instead of your assigned dice. If the stunt succeeds, you get a point in the cool factor. If it fails, you deduct a point.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
So the game is you have to A, survive, and B, you have to make an engaging enough episode for people to be interested in. If not,
Yeah.
you essentially lose the game. You essentially get cancelled, as it were. I found it really interesting.
Absolutely play that. Yeah.
And it is, the PDF is 12 pages. You get everything you need to start the game. You get everything you need as a GM to create the game, because there's random tables. There's tables for the locations, to the events that are happening, the zombies that attack you, to the were creature types, to items. You can run quite a decent campaign out of 12 pages. And I think it's fantastic.
I would absolutely play that. Not to volunteer you or anything, but maybe we should talk about like some sort of once a month tier reward thing for running like little one shots from these PDFs, because I want to play that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been interested in doing that as well, where, maybe another tier or maybe the same tier. I don't know.
Yeah, something.
We'll have to, that's more of a behind the scenes discussion.
Yeah.
But having a tier where, okay, once a month we'll run a one shot. You are welcome to, you will have priority in joining.
Because I want to play that. That looks like so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like a really, and I like Breathless. I think RP had a really, really interesting concept with the skills that reduce, symbolizing fatigue, symbolizing, So at first you're full of energy. You can use your D12, but then it goes to D12, D10, and all the way down to D4.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that at any point you can kind of go, right, we need to take a rest, but that comes with a consequence.
Right.
I think that is incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I love, we've talked about this. I love story. I need story. I can't run a game that's simply numbers, but I love risk. I love when the game has been gamified, and it's that I just love that. I love my spicy noodles, and I like it in my game too, where it's that like, I love this. This looks really good.
Yeah, it works, and I'd be really interested in running that. Either that or just Breathless or Stoneburner or one of the 200.
Stoneburner. I really want to play Stoneburner too.
Yeah, but there's like 200 games that are based on Breathless at this point. And, it has to work. It has to have something to it for these games to exist.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that like there's so many good games out there. There's so many. Go play a game. Go find a game you never played before and go play a game. That's your Atlas homework. That's your Atlas homework for the day. All of our listeners and watchers, it doesn't have to be a big drawn out campaign. It doesn't even have to go well. You could accidentally run the wrong rules. Go play a game you've never played before. Support some gamers.
Yeah, and if you need players, come join us in our Discord.
Yeah, seriously.
Come join us in our Discord, and drum up players there. I can personally vouch for nearly everybody on our Discord. I've either played with at some point or are planning to play with at some point.
Yep.
And fuck yeah, we've got a good crowd.
Stefan just volunteered to run a game for us. And maybe that's just it. Maybe we shouldn't just put it all on you, John. Maybe we should ask other people to GM.
Yeah, definitely. That
might be a thing.
The reason the crit list existed because I had so many games I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And we will get back to doing more crit list. And, Stefan's offered to run Pirate Borg. Fuck yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
I'd be down for some World of Darkness, for Pirate Borg, all these games that are on my list of shit, I need to try that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think between the crit list and once I get the one-shots up and running, we'll be gaming for a long fucking time.
Just maybe, for a certain subscription, maybe Atlas will actually run a game for our followers. Maybe.
All right, let's see if we can. Okay, so what should we put a number on it? Should we go $30 a month? If we get to getting $30 a month,
if we can get to that's a big.
It's a big jump. That's why, but it's.
If we can get to $30 a month, I will, hands down, without complaint or fighting, run a game for you guys.
All right, you heard it. All right, let's do this. Get to $30 a month, and Atlas will run a game.
Everyone will quit their subscription because of how bad the game will be.
Nah, it'll be fucking glorious. It'll be absolutely glorious.
It'll be fun.
But I do believe that's about all we've got time for.
All right.
So, first of all, thank you to everyone who joined us in the chat. It was
Love our chat.
absolutely wonderful to see you. Wonderful to kind of hear from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to you for joining us.
Yeah.
For keeping me company on this Sunday
Absolutely.
evening. Do you want to tell people whereabouts they can find you on the internet?
Yeah, Atlas Ursa, Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear, which in case anybody didn't realize these are bear ears, they're not cat ears. But no, you can find me on Blue Sky, TikTok. We're going to leave it at that for right now.
All right.
And Discord, obviously. Anywhere that I've posted things, you can find my Discord and I'm there. And I'm obviously in our Discord as, Too Legit to Crit.
We'd get sued.
Oh yeah, so soon.
As for me, well, I mean, if you can catch up with everything we do at toolegit2crit.uk, I'm still in the process of building out the website, and we've got most of it there. There's just some people that I want to add on our friends page. I want to add things about us, and I want to link it properly to our merch store. But you can find our merch. It's up on Fourth Wall, so you can find our merch store there. As for me, you can find me at Natural Juan on most of the social media outlets. Leaning more towards Blue Sky these days because,
Yep.
because the way things are going. But, I still pop my head in threads and annoy D&D players.
You can
whenever
find
I can.
me on Threads and Instagram and whatever you want, but if you want to actually interact with me, I only really interact on Blue Sky and TikTok. That's about it.
Yeah. So, lastly, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who spent time out of their busy day listening to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.